Hey guys, Clumsy here and welcome back to ETS2. Doing more Q&A today. It's been a while since the last Q&A and during the stream we we started a very long trip all the way from, where was it? Palermo, I think. Southern Italy. All the way north to Norway. We didn't get to finish, so I thought I could take you with me while doing some Q&A stuff so we could catch up on some of your questions. Anyway, without further ado, let's go. We are currently in Innsbruck, making our way north, past some of the very scenic country roads, hopefully. No map mods here though. Vanilla SCS map. Anyway, let's get going. All the major mods that are being used in this video will, as always, be listed in the video description. Let's do this. I've done a couple of videos with this truck already, with these sounds, so you probably know what the shtick is. But in case you don't, as I mentioned, video description should have more info for you. That was a bit harsh on the brakes. A little bit of blind side here. Oh, that's the... Was that the slide or something? Innsbruck, huh? Oh my goodness. I didn't remember this was in game. Because I remember this from X-Plane. Such an amazing sight to fly in. I'm excited for FS 2020. Super excited, counting the days. Anyway, let's get back into Q&A. We still have questions from Jay. We're finishing those up. We're doing it first in, first out basis. And since all of these questions piled up before, we'll tackle those first. But I did see that you guys had a lot of questions using the Google Forms. So if you have a question, I'll put a link in the video description to the Google form where you can post your question. And then optionally, you can also include your name, or you can remain anonymous if you feel like it. So either way is fine. But yeah, I've seen a couple. Last time I checked, there were 15. But that was like a week or so ago. So we'll see how it has progressed now. So yes, lots of questions lined up. And that's going to be perfect for when there are no such updates, no big updates in the game, in the mod. So we can enjoy what we have at the moment and just do Q&A and hang out and chill. So yes, after much delay, let's go. Question from Jay: who or what do you always have time for? Well, since Mrs. Clumsy is right behind me right now as I'm recording. Of course, Mrs. Clumsy. No, but no, it's true. But no, a little more on a serious note here. So you guys probably know, past few years have not been very easy for me. Past few years, my parents passed away. Not at the same time, but very close to each other. And my mom passed away first. And during that time, yes, it was very challenging for sure, as you guys can imagine. But that opened my eyes a bit. Actually, not a bit. That was a whole eye-opener experience, you know, where I realized why am I working? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So it kind of opened my eyes to prioritization and making sure that I do things that are important for me and not just get swept up in the momentum of things. Like, oh, I have to do this work, I have to focus on this work, I have to finish the job, of course, but not at the price of sacrificing what is really important, you know, family, relationships, stuff like that. So nowadays, I try to detach myself a bit from work. Work can be a bit stressful sometimes. It can take up a lot of your time. Can be very engaged in it. And so when things don't go well, it can be very easy to get affected and get stressed and start sacrificing the important things. But when this happens, I try to always... Oh my goodness, this guy is so slow. I think we can overtake. Hopefully no carp comes up. Yeah, that's the one I am worried about. Sorry. And now they won't let me in because I am such a bad driver. Now entering Germany. Sorry. that guy staring at me bad. Man, this is a very nice area, huh? Yeah, I heard from you guys when we were streaming it. This part of Austria/Germany, this area is a very old area, but one of the best ones there in the old areas in ETS2. But anyway, yeah, going back to the topic. So yes, nowadays when I get stressed like that, even before, I hope I don't reach that point, but I try and focus while I'm really doing what I'm doing. And if it turns out that it's not really the end-all be-all, you know, like, is this really my priority? If it's not, then it's not, like, don't get too attached to it. If something goes wrong, then it goes wrong. Just do your best and focus on the things that are really important. But yeah, if I would answer that in one word, Mrs. Clumsy. Okay, next question. What could you give a 30-minute impromptu lecture on? 30-minute impromptu lecture, like just hanging out with friends or even in a workshop, and then suddenly they ask to ask for me to stand up and do a lecture, things like that. Well, something that's related to work for sure, something that I have spent a lot of time on, researched about, got experience on, so that's going to be something about work most probably. And mainly outside of work, that would probably be either trucking, flying, although flying probably not as maybe more theoretical because I don't really have any real life experience there. Well, the same goes for trucking, but anything that has something to do with YouTubing, making videos, so I'm sure I can share more on that. But where I would really be passionate about most likely is, you guessed it, for those who know me, personal finance. I have started getting into personal finance since 2018, I think, very new at it. But the passion, so to speak, has been up there ever since. Because it's just so useful, you know, it's just a very practical skill to have, very practical topic to focus on. It's just not about knowing things. You can really apply it in your life. So it's something that I really feel strongly about, and something that I really am passionate about sharing. You know, how to manage your finances. Not just about which stock to invest in, because that's a very shallow topic and not very good for normal people like us. But you know, how to manage your money, how to grow it, how to keep on saving, stuff like that. Because everyone deserves to know, and not everyone does, because it's not really a topic for school in most countries. People don't normally talk about it because it's a taboo subject. You know, it's much more taboo than, I don't know, some countries have sex education, for example, but money, not really a lot. So it's even more, it's one of the most taboo subjects up there. And like, imagine hanging out with your friends. I would bet like 99% of you don't talk about money when you guys are together, because it's the same for me. With my friends, I don't really talk about it because it's like it's a secret, and people are shy to talk about it normally. But as a result of that, not a lot of people know the right thing to do, and I only got exposed to it since 2018 because I got frustrated with how I'm managing my money. I wanted to have more control over it. I wanted to understand it. And I took extra effort to learn about it. And here I am already doing that 30-minute impromptu lecture. See? But yeah, I think everyone deserves to know. And I hope the overall aura changes about it, because everyone needs to know how to handle their own money. As they keep saying, personal finance is personal, but you need to know the basics so you know what you're doing. And if you don't talk about it, then no one will know. Alright, next one. If you could level up in life just like in video games, where would you put your next skill point? Love it. I think about this a lot because how the role-playing games have it set up, the concept of leveling up is very applicable in real life, isn't it? When you start learning about things, when you start studying things, start practicing, you kind of level up in a way. You don't really get that, oh, I'm level 50 now, but you get to a point where, oh, I'm much better than I was yesterday. Oh my goodness, the view here is so amazing, huh? Project Next Gen textures as well make things a lot more modern than how they should be in vanilla, how they would be rather. Anyway, so if I were to choose, well, right now I am focusing on, well, finances is always an ongoing thing, as I mentioned. It's something that you never really you keep learning on, because all new things come up every time, and it's very practical. But one thing that I've really been enjoying recently, as you guys can imagine, is aviation. The flight sim industry. Not only because of Flight Sim 2020, but that is a huge part of it. I've always been, since when did I start? Last year, I think, 2019 probably. And if I got that wrong, let me know. I'm sure I started January or February, but I can't remember if it's 2019 or 2018. But since that year or so ago, I have been getting more and more into aviation and started learning about different concepts, starting getting a bit of practice and learning how to fly a plane. I'm still very new at it compared to some other guys who have been into flight sims since the first ever flight simulator in the computer. But I'm learning and I'm enjoying every bit of it. And if I were to choose, then that's definitely something I'm leveling up on. Right now, every free time I get, I try and set up my yoke, set up a flight, something new every flight that you learn. Hand flying, getting a feel of how the wind affects the plane, every little adjustment, every little change in the weather, all that stuff. And it's a very slow process for me. I think I don't have that talent for flying, to put it bluntly. I'm a very clumsy flyer, as you guys can imagine, so it doesn't come easily for me. Like the concepts, maybe I can get behind, like how to start a 737 cold and dark. These things I think I can get because they're more on knowledge basis, like memorization and concepts wise. So it's like going to school really, and I can perform well there. It's something you can study and memorize to a point, understand the concepts, so that one I can get behind. But I think where I have a harder time is actually flying, hand flying, because it's not only what you know, it's how you apply it. And you need good reflexes, I guess, to a point. You need good understanding, and that one I think is going to take a lot more time for me. Some people just have it naturally. They fly very naturally. They have very smooth movements. They understand the concepts like by instinct. I don't really have that, but I do have the interest, so I'm willing to put in the work, put in the hours, and just enjoy the journey. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be good in the beginning. It's the climb going up. It's the journey to getting better bit by bit every day. That's the good thing for me. Exactly like the question, That's why I had a phase where I enjoyed role-playing games, because the concept of leveling up just really appeals to me in real life. You struggle hard, you grind, you go and look for monsters to kill, try to level up those skills the same way you do in life. And right now I'm focusing that in aviation. Because it's just such an amazing world. And with Flight Sim 2020, it is not only improving our current situation where we get better simulator, but it's also increasing the reach, because before, for example, X-Plane is probably only interesting to people who are into flight sims in the first place. But with Flight Sim 2020, the visuals, how it looks, how realistic it is in the trailers and everything, the reach to even casual people has been increasing, and it's good. I guess it's going to be available for the Xbox eventually. So the reach there is going to be very it's going to have a very positive impact for us, because the more the people are interested in flight sim, the better there will be in terms of product availability, new hardware, software. It's a niche, but the more people are interested, and the more companies will be willing to put in effort to improve and add stuff to it. And with Flight Sim 2020, that reach, that visibility has gone to another level. I can imagine some people who are not really into flight sims but would just like a nice sightseeing adventure could get into flight sim as well. They don't have to go into the actual technical details, or at least not start there, because as I understand, Flight Sim 2020 will have the varying levels of depth. You can play it very casually, or you can go hardcore and play it like a real simulator. And for those who are just starting out, they can keep it basic and still get the experience of flying to a point. And more importantly, the sights, the beautiful graphics. So I can imagine it will have a lot more reach, especially when it comes to console, to the Xbox. So really looking forward to that. Wouldn't be as niched, as close environment. So opening that up a bit, and that will be great, especially for me, because I am currently living in Singapore, and there is a flight sim community here, but I don't think it's as large. Well, yeah, like it's a very small community, I think. Like the shops that cater to flight sim equipment, they are very limited. I only know one shop in Singapore that really has all, well, not really all, but has most of the flight sim equipment that you would need. And yeah, it doesn't have everything, so the selection is very poor. And I guess I can imagine that's because not everyone is into flight simming, and in Singapore that's even less. So not as mainstream, and so not as many shops carry the products, and that equates to less choices for me. Like, I'm not as lucky as those who are living in the US or in the UK, where you have easy access to all of the things that come out. The honeycomb yoke, the track IR, all of these for me have to be imported. And because the flight sim industry is not as famous, then the product availability is more challenging as well. But with the increased reach, that may change a bit more. More people will be interested, and so more companies will carry those products, and it will be easier to gain access to them. And that's something I'm really looking forward to. So I won't be as unique, as strange anymore. Like, people look at you funny when you ask for a product. Like, what's that? But yeah, looking forward to that. And it's going to be coming very, very soon. Less than a month to go, right? Half a month, more or less. We'll see if it lives up to the hype. But watch out for more videos on that. And because I might get some equipment too when they come available. Anyway, right, so let's go to the next question. If time wasn't an issue and you had forever to master a skill, what skill would you master? I think it's basically the same answer that I would give, because I'm really into that right now. You know, flying skills. I would need a lot of time for that, as I mentioned, because I don't have the innate talent for it. And this is something that I would like to highlight as well. Like, how do you say? I believe talent is... I believe talent is something that we are given. It's something that we are born with, so we have different starting points. But what we do with that talent is really where the excitement is. We're at different starting points, but given enough effort, given enough drive, then you can increase that skill regardless of where you start. You probably can be at a bit of advantage or disadvantage because of that starting point, but it shouldn't be limiting you in pursuing something. So this is exactly how it is for me. Like I mentioned, flight sims, I don't have any innate talent with flying. I'm a very clumsy flyer. If you've been watching the stream since last year, you'll know how bad we were. And all of those VODs, video on demand, that's basically a stream footage from Twitch. I started streaming it ever since the beginning, so if you can actually go through that explain VODs playlist, and you'll see the journey from the very beginning, since beginning of last year, how bad I was. I didn't understand any of the concepts, didn't know any of the flight controls. I didn't know, I was smashing straight into a volcano, things like that. And I've been learning ever since. So I don't have any talent for it, but I am doing my best on developing my skill for it, and I'm enjoying the journey. So if I had all the time, I would focus on that, because it's just such an amazing world, the world of aviation. If I had the funds, I probably would have gone into flight school already to experience the real thing, have better insights when I get back to the sim. Maybe that can still happen in the future, but right now it's very expensive. So I focus on the sim, maybe get some skill first. So by the time I have enough budget to go on an actual school, I have an edge. I don't start from scratch. Right. Next question. What are you so incredibly terrible at that you've given up ever doing it again? I think, yes. So I have a lot of things that I have no talent for, especially when it comes to physical stuff. And it all comes down to my interest. Like, if I like something, regardless if I'm very bad at it or not, I'll do my very best to be good at it to some point. I probably won't be winning any competitions, but I will be enjoying every bit of it, and I will be improving to an acceptable level that I am okay with. So it all boils down to the interest. But if I'm bad at something and I don't really like it anyway, why would I put in the hours? Why would I put in the work? So I've given up on a lot of things. And that's mainly, I guess the main thing you could say is sports. I suck at sports, period. I think I told this story already in one of the Q&As on a different topic, but I realized it when I was in school. I was a very big guy before. I was not raised in a sporty family. We didn't really get into sports. None of my family members were into sports, so we didn't really play a lot, because some people would probably say, well, your weight would not be it's not really an excuse to not get into sports, because I know some large people, some big people who are very good at basketball, very good at sports. So it's not the size that's the impediment, it's the culture, I guess, the family upbringing. And because I didn't have much exposure to sports, I don't think I've ever gone on a sports workshop or any game that was not forced upon me. The only time I went into sports was during school when I really had to take the PE subject, physical education. But if I had a choice, I would have never gone. And I never went on summer workshops or anything like that. So no actual exposure to it. So when I got exposed in school and I was bad at it and I didn't really like it, it was tiring. So it's like, the heck with this. I'm very bad at the hand-eye coordination. I can imagine my dread. I can remember the feeling of dread I felt every time PE would come, because it's going to be PE again. And during that time, especially in the beginning of every semester, where you are like measured how fit you are, so you're asked to do push-ups, you're asked to do sit-ups, you're asked to run around the oval. That would be one of the worst days for me. I get to see how much I suck again. And yeah, and I was not very much into fitness, didn't really understand what it was for, so I just dreaded it. And nowadays, for sure, I need to focus more on fitness for health reasons. As you get older, you get to understand better the importance. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. You have to have some kind of physical fitness in there. Have to squeeze it in. But that's a different topic. But yeah, for actual sports like volleyball, basketball, tried all of those at school, didn't really like them, wasn't really any good at them. So the moment I could let go, I just did. And I'm happy enough for it. Like, I would rather focus on the things that I really like. And if I like something that I am good at, then that's a good sign for me to pursue that particular topic. Like, for example, I don't know, computers, for example. I think I have an innate talent for understanding how things work in computers. And I learned that I am good at them. So my starting point was ahead, not like in flight sims or not like in flying or in sports. So I had a bit of an advantage with computers, and I really like them. So combine those two, focus on your strengths, and I think that ended up in a better situation for me. So yeah, that's going to be. So I focused on my strengths, and maybe some weaknesses I try and improve, but overall, those weaknesses I learned how to just work around them, turn them into my advantage, like remove them from the equation totally, so I don't have to be exposed to them. Like sports is okay to watch, but not really a necessity for me in life, and I can live without it, so I do. And as I mentioned, physical fitness is a completely different topic, and although I'm very bad at hand-eye coordination, very bad at sports, in physical fitness, in getting fit and exercising, you don't really need talent, you just need grit. But then again, yeah, so I tried to find ways to make it interesting for me. Normally, I wouldn't be enjoying any kind of exercise either. I'm a couch potato. I'm by nature, so I had to really find that activity that I like, and that is giving me that physical fitness. And I think I mentioned this already in a different Q&A. Let's go and change lanes here. Hopefully, no one goes to our lane. I'm going to go on this innermost lane just to be sure I don't get trolled by AI. There you go. Yeah. It's night, and I think it's time to call it an episode. So I'll finish my monologue here, and then we'll continue on the next session. So yeah, when it comes to something you don't like but you have to do, like for me exercise, then you really have to trick your brain into doing stuff. Like I mentioned, it's not just about willpower. Willpower will only get you so far, and after some time you will get tired of it. So in the beginning, willpower is good to force you to start, but you really need a good system so that you can keep on doing it. And for me and Mrs. Clumsy, we found something that works for us, at least for now in this quarantine period. And that is going to classes, going to these Zoom classes to join other people work out at the same time. That adds a bit of peer pressure for us. Adds a bit of enjoyment and indirect competition, because you have at the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, I'd like to perform very well. I'd like to be able to do all the stuff, the activities. And to a certain point, you're competing with other people, although not directly. It's like competing with yourself and other people. So it's a good level of pressure, peer pressure and everything else, to force us to work out, and we enjoy the activity in the process. So it's a very good combo. So yeah, really have to trick yourself into doing these things. Now, where would the next stop be? Let's go and look. Well, we just passed one. I should have gone there. Okay, here. Let's go and stop that way. That's going to be 83 kilometers from now. Shouldn't be too long. Should be very quick. And that's going to be a good sign to stop and then continue in the morning, and we move that to the next episode. Well, maybe I could still answer one question or two while we're still here. So let me read. Now this is completely a different topic. What are some websites you used to use all the time but have stopped using? Some websites you used to use all the time but have stopped using. Let me see. Yahoo.com. During the early days, GeoCities. Oh man, this is going to highlight how old I'm getting. But yeah, I guess nowadays it's mostly which websites do I go to? Google, of course, searching stuff, YouTube, SES forums, Explain forums. What else do I go to? I think those are the main ones that I go to. Gmail. Well, that's going to be a very steep turn. It's best if we slow down here on the next one. Just coast along. Yeah, that's not really a big deal. Not that sharp. Yeah, I'm not sure if what websites have been exploring before. Well, I guess it relates more to what my previous habits were, because the websites tie directly into that. I've gone on some forums before that I don't go to anymore, like when I was an Apple fanboy, believe it or not. I was an Apple fanboy before, and I don't have anything against them, but yeah, I came to a point where I just got sick of it, and I switched to Android and have not looked back ever since. I'm sure stories on the opposite direction also exist, but for me it's Apple to Android. And I stopped going to the forums because of that, because I can't relate to it anymore. For me, it's just waste of money getting all those products. What else? Well, I guess the website for our stockbroker. I was previously into like individual stock trading, you know, the cool stuff, like cool kid stuff. Oh, I bought shares from Apple or from Amazon when they were small, and now I've earned so much. Stuff like that, like stories that excite you. And I got into that for a while when I started into personal finance. Actually, even before 2018, when I started really learning about personal finance, Mrs. Clumsy and I, we joined this workshop or this seminar. We paid for it. We learned how to trade stocks, do the technical analysis, read charts, all that mumbo jumbo. And I know it works for some people, but for the vast majority of people, it's just a waste of time and money. So I got into that for a bit as well. Went to the stockbroker site every day, monitored the stocks, tried to buy low and sell high, ended up doing the opposite. And eventually, when I really got into personal finance that year, I learned that it's not really a wise thing to do. Leave that to the pros who have all the fancy equipment and stuff. And if you want to get into a discussion on that, I would happily oblige you. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is something I could do an impromptu session on. So if you want personal finance trucking episodes, like a series on personal finance while trucking, I would happily do that. Just let me know. But yes, that is going to be a very complex, very long-winded discussion, so we leave that for next time. My goodness, it's so dark now, huh? Alright guys, we're almost there. And then we'll... yeah, there you go, 200 meters away. We'll rest, we don't need refueling yet. And we'll continue next episode. I love it. So thanks for the questions, guys. Keep them coming so that we have a lot of things we can talk about during times like these when we don't have many updates in the trucking world. So we can still do trucking and still talk about something. I know some people prefer the commentaries, and I will happily do that because that's something I enjoy as well. It's a good outlet for me. So I'm happy to oblige. Anyway, let's leave it there for now. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next episode. Hopefully it's going to be an even better discussion. So thanks for the questions. Keep them coming, and catch you next one. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye. Clumsy Trucking.